In the last video, we spoke about classes and IDs in CSS. But in today's video, we will discover what is a div tag and a span tag. Let's start with the div. And the div tag is a block level element. That means it occupies all the horizontal space next to it and vertical space depending on the height of the element. So basically it will create a block, leaving other elements to be displayed on a new line. Now, what means div? So div means division or section. So you can add division 1, division 2, division 3, division 4, and so on. So basically, it creates separate division. I will show you what we will create today in this video. So in my HTML file, I will specify a div tag. So I'm gonna say div, and make sure to close it down here. And now I'm gonna specify a class for this division. So I'm gonna call it div1. Now as you can see, nothing will happen in my browser. What I will do is I'm gonna go to my CSS file, and before we start styling our div tag, I'm gonna first add a background color to my body. So background color, I'm gonna say red. Now I'm gonna call the div1 class by saying .div1, and now I want to specify a width and height for my div, because without specifying a width and a height, we won't be able to see the div. So I'm gonna say width, and I'm gonna say 90%. What this means is it will occupy 90% of the body width. So it will take 90% width from the body. Now I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna say height, and the height will be 710 pixels. Of course, make sure to play around with those values and see which value suits you more. Now my div is actually invisible. I'm gonna add a background color, and it's going to be blue. As you can see, this is my division 1 or div1. This is the background color of the body, but this is my div tag or the division 1, but it's not in the middle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my CSS file. I'm gonna say margin auto. Now I'm not gonna explain what means margins in this video, but what this basically means is it will add my element in the middle or center it, and as you can see, it did. As you can see, we have our first division. Now if I go to my HTML file, let's say I want to add this simple paragraph and say division 1. Where do you think this will be displayed? It will be displayed inside the division. Why? Because I actually added it inside the div tag. But if I put it outside the div tag, that means it will be inside the body tag. It will be displayed somewhere in this red area. As you can see, it will be displayed outside the div. I'm gonna undo all of this, and I'm gonna keep this inside the div. Now, let's create a second div inside my first div. So I'm gonna say div class equal to div2. Now let's go to CSS, but before, let me add a p or paragraph tag. I'm gonna say division2. And now to select my second division or div2, I'm gonna call it by the class. So I'm gonna say .div and I'm gonna add 2. Right now, I'm gonna do the same thing as the div1. So I'll say margin auto to center it. I'm gonna say width, and I'm gonna say 90%. Now what this 90% means here, that it will occupy 90% of the width of the div1, not the body, because this div2 is actually inside of my first div. Now I'm gonna go to height, and I'm gonna specify a value like 640 pixels. Now on the width, don't limit yourself by using 90%. You can go ahead and test with pixels. Now my div is currently invisible, so I'm gonna add a background color to make it visible for us. I'm gonna say yellow. As you can see, I have my second division inside my div1. And look what we got. We have the body over here. It has a background color of red. Inside the body, we have our div tag, which has the color of blue. And inside this division1 tag, we have the division2. Now let's create our third div. So I'm gonna say div class equal to div3. And by now, you should know how to create your own div. And inside my div3, I'm gonna add a paragraph tag, and I'm gonna say division3. And now go to my CSS file. Same thing, I'm gonna call my class div3 by saying .div3. Now I'm gonna say margin auto to center it. And then I'm gonna say width, which is 90%. And will occupy 90% of the width of the div2, of course, because it is inside it. I'm gonna say height, I'm gonna say 565. And a background color of, let's say, green. As you can see, we have our division 3 inside division 2 inside division 1, and division 1 inside the body tag. Now let me teach you something else. As you can see, div 1, div 2, and div 3 have the margin and width these same values. So what we will do is, I'm gonna go down here, I'm gonna say something like this. div1, and I'm gonna add a comma, dot div2, add a comma, dot div3. And I'm gonna say margin, auto, and I'm gonna say width, 90%. Now I could go ahead and delete this for each one of these divs. And what this means is that these three divisions have the same property and value. So this is a way to write elements that have the same property and value. As you can see, nothing will change. So this is another way to write CSS. So when you have 2 to more elements that have the same property and value, you can do this, or you could just stick to the other like this one, the normal one. And basically right now, you should know how to create your own div in CSS. But now let's go ahead and start with the span tag. And the span tag is an inline element. The inline element only takes the horizontal space needed for it to fit in. Now let me delete all of this, and let's start, or let me write something basic. I'm gonna say inside my H2, the top 3 languages to build a website. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna use a list to list those 3 languages. So there will be HTML, and it will be right now CSS, and the last will be JavaScript or JS. And right now I need to close my unordered list. As you can see, we have the top 3 languages to build a website, HTML, CSS, and JS, and I'm gonna take off this background color. Okay, now I'm gonna ask you a question. Let's say I want you to color all the elements that are inside parentheses with red. How will you do it? Well, if you decided to go ahead in CSS and go write UL and say color red, what do you think will happen now? As you can see, all the elements inside my unordered list will be colored in red, while I asked to only color or style the elements that are inside parentheses. Now I'm gonna first delete this one and go ahead to my HTML file. This is where the span tag comes and shine. So the span tag is an inline element. How to write it? You will go to the section that you want it to be colored in red. Let's say the hypertext markup language, I want it to be in red. I'm gonna write span between it. So right now, the span tag is actually between hypertext markup language. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna give it a class, and I'm gonna say span. I'm gonna go to CSS, and right over here, I'm gonna say dot span color red. As you can see, only this section inside the parentheses is colored in red. So this is the power of span tags. It allows you to style elements inline. So if I go back to my code, and what I'm gonna do the same thing for the others. I'm gonna say right over here span class equal to span. Make sure to close it. So I'm gonna close it between the cascading style sheet to make sure that I style this section in red. I'm gonna do the same thing for JavaScript. As you can see, all the elements that are inside parentheses are colored in red. Now instead of specifying a class, so I could actually mention the style attribute, which allows me to write CSS inside those quotation marks. So I could say color, just how we write normal CSS, I'm gonna write it over here. I'm gonna say green. As you can see, instead of red, we have it in green. Basically, I didn't put this span tag inside a class, but what I did is, I actually styled it inline. So I added this style attribute so I could style it right now in front of you. I could do the same thing for the others. I could delete this class and could say style, let's say color, make it blue. As you can see, it is blue. Alright, this is it on the div and the span tag in HTML and CSS. I hope you got some value from this video and enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe and follow me along in this CSS tutorial. Meanwhile, if you guys want to increase your knowledge and want to learn something new, check out this playlist, where we convert decimal numbers to binary or zeros and ones, as well as convert binary to decimal, and perform arithmetic operations with binary. Or maybe you want to watch and relax. How about checking out the evolution of the mobile phone and found out that the first cell phone was created back in 1973.